What's going on, Phins fans? It is your boy Dillon, and I'm here to do my, what is this video? It's my rooting guide video. I decided I'm going to do my rooting guide video today, and then tomorrow I'll do my preview video for the Jets game, because I want to have the full injury report. I'm going to try and make sure that when I do my video tomorrow, or at least I'm going to try my best. We'll see how it goes because it's not always available, but I'm going to try and make sure I actually have an injury report this time that has the full week's, statuses with game status designations and shit too. So that way we actually have a little bit more of a concrete idea. But anyway, that's for tomorrow. So for now, I do want to get into my rooting guide. So I figured the best way to do it is to just bring up the playoff predictor that I've been using. So let's go ahead and do that and we will get into it. So obviously we have this game tonight, actually on Thursday, Raiders, Chargers. Frankly, doesn't really matter to us. And obviously there are going to be a number of games here that don't really matter to us, but let's go ahead and say Raiders. So this one, Bengals and Vikings, you want the Bengals to win this one. And I'm pretty sure that there's a good chance of that. I mean, obviously they're a home team, so you probably have a little bit of an edge there. But Jake Browning actually has been playing pretty well, and keeping their season alive. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, and then that would move them to 8-6, and it would help to keep the Bills out of the playoffs. Now, this next game, honestly, this game could really go either way, and we'd probably be fine with it. I mean, let's see. What does it say the Colts currently are? Where are they? Indianapolis is 7-6. Pittsburgh is 7-6, and so is Buffalo. But obviously, I think. Let's see. Here, hang on. Well, obviously we want the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Bills. I mean, if the Cowboys beat the Bills, then it kind of makes it a moot point to some degree, because that would obviously drop the Bills to 7-7. And I definitely think it's a realistic possibility. Cowboys are hot. They're a really good team. We want the Broncos to win this game. So, I mean, see, the thing is whichever team wins this game is going to be in the playoffs, or at least, as of the end of week 15, and the other one will be on the outside looking in, but will still be ahead of the Buffalo Bills. I mean, and let's say the Bills even win. I mean, still not, even at 8-6, obviously still not in. Let's see if the Steelers won. See, again, they would just be switching places there, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, I do think the Lions are going to win. I don't think Broncos are going to beat the Lions. But obviously this is what we want to happen. But if the Lions win, then see, the thing is, and why I've been saying, even if the Bills win out, I mean, obviously, unless the Dolphins completely collapse, which they have to prevent that from happening. And the best way they can do that is obviously beating the Jets this upcoming week. So where is that? Beat the Jets. You're at home. Beat the fucking Jets. Beat the fucking Jets. Beat the fucking Jets. Beat the fucking Jets. All right, we do want the Texans over the Titans. But anyway, so either way, though, I mean, the reason why the Bills are not that big of a concern is simply because of the fact that they have so many tiebreaker issues going down the stretch. So the only way that the Bills will get in for sure, is if the Dolphins collapse and they end up losing the division. Aside from that, though, I mean, the division, frankly, could be, decided the very last game of the season at this point, But anyway, obviously we want the Broncos, we want the Texans, because this just keeps all these teams ahead of the Bills and makes sure that, Now, this one's really important, though. We want the Jags to beat the Ravens. The Ravens do have a tough schedule going down the stretch, and I think, let's see, just real quick, 16... Yeah, in week 16, the Ravens play the 49ers, and I'm pretty sure the Niners are going to get the win there. I feel confident about that. But if we can get Jacksonville, obviously, because Jacksonville going into it is 8-5, so we still have a 1-game lead on them, but we would like the Ravens to take an L, so that way we can still, because we're still, look, there is still a chance for that number 1 seed. I know Dolphins fans are really down right now after this loss, and they're all freaking out. They're like, oh my God. And look, it's possible, and I can see the concerns myself. My biggest concern is the offensive line. They did sign, Matt Skura to the practice squad and Jonathan Harrison from the practice squad to the active roster. We'll look at the injury report tomorrow, but there are, a number of guys on the injury report, including Liam Eichenberg. Armstead may play. Hunt probably won't from what I'm hearing, but we'll see. I don't know. Right. So my biggest issue, honestly, is that offensive line. Look, and there's been a big debate. I watched the AFC East roundtable yesterday. I watched Doug's post game, Doug Lee Durong, his post game, thing, recap. And, Doug was saying that it is primarily the offensive line. TD was saying that it's because Tua was holding on to the ball too long. The fact of the matter is they're actually both correct because the numbers do bear out. Tua did have it is actually accurate. If you go look at the numbers, Tua had the longest time to throw at 2.7 seconds than he's had in any game in the season. The reality and why that is the case is because he did hold on to the ball a little too long at certain points. That is true. And he absolutely has to get better at, throwing the ball away. That's an area he's definitely going to have to improve on. Throwing the ball away and also being able to extend things a little bit and try and make plays. Now he can and he has done it. He's just got to be consistent at it. Anybody who says he can't do it, I don't think is accurate because we've seen him do it in the past. We've even seen him do it recently. We saw him do it in the game against the Commanders a bunch of times where he navigated the pocket and even broke out a couple times and still made some good throws and made some plays. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Patrick Mahomes, and he's never gonna be. But he has that ability to some degree, and he does need to improve on that as well. But the fact of the matter is while it is true that 2.7 seconds is the longest time that he had to throw in that game, it is also true that that game was the highest pressure percentage all season as well, right? So in other words, out of all the times that he dropped back to throw, how many of those throws, those dropbacks, did he get pressured on? He got pressured on 44% of those dropbacks. That is also a fact, right? Just like it is 2.7 seconds, it is also a fact that on 44% of his dropbacks, he was pressured, which is by far a high on the season, right? And then, of course, there was also the 5 sacks that resulted in that. Now, that was those 5 sacks were a combination of that incredible amount of pressure he was facing, as well as the fact that there were a couple occasions where he held the ball too long. All right. Anyway, so my biggest concern, because look, I like to be a realist. I don't like to, I don't like to fly to one extreme or the other, super positive or super negative. I like to stay balanced. Okay. So believe me when I say I 100% see the concerns. My biggest concern is that offensive line and then, injuries overall. We'll see. Now, they've been damn good at managing the injuries over the course of the season. There are some other issues. Like, again, some of the short yardage stuff and committing to the run. McDaniel's got to commit to the run more. In fact, I would say down the stretch, let's become a run-heavy team. Because the offensive line, especially with the way that it is right now, in, flux as much as it is, run the ball, run the fucking ball. And they've actually the past couple weeks and throughout the entire season, they've done it and done it well. Run the ball. They need to run the ball, 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 run the ball. We'll get into that more later, obviously in the preview game or preview show and whatever. But look, that's what needs to happen, right? So there are definitely adjustments that need to be made, things to improve on. But I also see the fact that this team is 9-4. We still do. I know a lot of fans are going to be like, oh, quit it, man. Don't even talk about it. But look, the reality is that the number one seed is still available. It's also true that we have to win the last 4 games of the season, which are going to be tough games, but 3 of them are at home. And if this team can rally and get themselves together and overcome these adversities, it's possible. It's going to be fucking tough. Maybe the probability isn't super high there, but I think that they can do it, and I think that they have all the pieces in place. Also, let me just say this, right? One of my biggest fears, though, going down the stretch, if I'm being completely honest, and one reason why well, there are 2 reasons why. I know I'm kind of going a little off topic here, but there are 2 reasons why I want the Dolphins to not collapse this December. One, because as a Dolphins fan for the past 20 plus years, I'm used to the same thing that all Dolphins fans are. Same old Dolphins, December collapses, blah, 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 all these narratives, blah, 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 right? So obviously there's the part of me that's just tired of it and wants to see bigger and better things. The other part is that I'm worried that this fan base, and I've already seen it. I've already seen it on Twitter and various places. Like, it's absurd. This coaching staff and the regime that we have in place, like if you guys know me, I've given so much shit over the past several years and prior to McDaniel coming in for all of their mistakes. I was very much labeled a negative Dolphins fan because of how critical I was about them, particularly when it came to Flores. But the fact of the matter is that I was right about damn near all of it. The thing is right now, another thing Dolphins fans have been used to over the past several decades, or couple decades at least, is a constant flux in the power structure that runs our organization. Let me say this. Dynasties are not built overnight. They're also not built over just a couple of years. Okay? They're built over at least bare minimum 3 or 4 plus years, but I would really even say you got to give him 5 years. McDaniel is a young head coach. It's only his second year. It's only year 1 of Vic Fangio's defense. You got to give them time to get drafts under their belt, to get their guys in, to implement their schemes and styles, right? It takes time. So one of my biggest fears, though, is that if, God forbid, knock on wood, whatever, if the Dolphins do collapse going down the stretch, my biggest fear is that Dolphins fans are going to be all up in their feelings. They're going to, slide into their PSD, and they're going to be like, we got to clean house. And they're going to just harp on the mistakes that were made. And are those mistakes valid? Are those concerns valid? Absolutely. But to then say the solution is to blow everything. So that's my fear. I don't want to see a collapse because, one, I don't want to see the same old Dolphins and I want to see new Dolphins, but also because I'm just so worried that we're going to end up screwing up the best thing that we've done for this franchise and organization by getting the pieces in place that we have from top to bottom, just because we get all up in our feels and things don't go exactly like we wanted to, and because we didn't win a Super Bowl in year 2 of this regime. You feel me? So we all just need to take a breath. We just need to relax. And we need to keep moving. All right, let me go ahead and finish this up. This one doesn't matter, really, whatever. This one doesn't matter. This one doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. No, doesn't matter. This one does matter. Now, I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs are struggling. It's a home game for the Patriots. The Patriots are looking spunky. Bill Belichick's going to be out. He's probably trying to screw them a little bit, get some wins. Who knows? There's all kinds of crazy shit going on. We need the Patriots to win. That would drop the Chiefs to 8-6. Now, is that going to happen? Probably fucking not. You feel me? Probably not. But that's what we need to happen. This is a rooting guide, so that's what we need to happen, obviously, because that would just make it that much easier for us. Look, I mean, if the Patriots could squeeze out a victory against the Chiefs, if the Jags can beat the Ravens, then somehow, some way, Number 1 seed can still be ours, right? Look, I mean, we do need, at this point, it's a fact that the Dolphins have to basically either win out and or get a, help down the stretch to get well, look, if the Dolphins win out, they're the number 1 seed, period. If they don't win out, then they definitely need some motherfucking help. You feel me? So, yeah, anyway, we need the Browns to win, and this one doesn't matter. So there you have it. For the most part, and just to kind of wrap this up, I'll put it like this, right? Obviously, the Dolphins need to get their win. That one is let's take care of our own business, and then we don't really even need to worry about what happens across the rest of the league because we'll have taken care of our business, and we will get ourselves to where we need to be. So this one's obvious. When it comes to this game, and this game, it's really just these two games right now in particular. Oh, by the way, let's put that back because that's how we want that. But this game and this game in particular, Chiefs, Patriots, and Ravens, Jags, those games, what our goal is there is to drop the teams, to give more losses to the teams that we're competing for the number 1 seed with. You feel me? So we want, at the end of the day, if we have, or at the end of the season, if we have more wins than these guys, now there are tiebreaker scenarios, and as it currently stands, you see that with this playing out as I put it, we would be tied with the Ravens, but have the tiebreakers because of Miami, AFC East champ, wins tiebreaker over Baltimore based on best win percentage in conference games. Okay? Conference. So it would be a conference tiebreaker that we would have over them. But obviously, if at the end of the season we have one game better in the win column than the rest of the slate, we get the number 1 seed. But anyway, so, and then the rest of these games, like, let's see, Bengals, Vikings, Steelers, Colts, Broncos, Lions, Titans, Texans, Dallas, Buffalo, and Browns, Bears. We all want those games to go in that direction so that way Buffalo, 1, can't catch us for the division, and 2, so that way they also don't make the playoffs. Now, frankly, as I've said a number of times, and we'll get into this obviously more as the weeks go on and tomorrow with the playoff predictor video, but even if Buffalo wins out, there is still a chance if a lot of these other things go like we want, like if the Browns win and if the Bengals win, if the Texans win, right? Like if those end up, Broncos, if they were to win, right? This one's kind of it can go either way, so this one doesn't matter. But those ones in particular, right? Because those are against like NFC teams and shit like that, or this one's an AFC team that's not making it to the playoffs, right? You feel me? This one really doesn't matter. But these ones, if these teams win, and even if Buffalo wins, they're not going to move up in the playoff standings because the teams that were ahead of them will stay ahead of them. All right, you feel me? So that's how that goes. I know I got a little bit off on some slight tangent-y things kind of in the middle there, but I had some things to say and a little bit of, piece, my 2 cents or whatever on a couple things. And I also want, I just want people to be centered. I want people to have the proper balance when they're evaluating things. Look, here's the thing, right? A football season is crazy. So many things can happen. You can start the season one way, end the season completely different. You can never predict it. But here's what you do. This is what you do. You start at the beginning. We all make our projections. We all evaluate. And then all you got to do is just every week, when you get new data, adjust your evaluation accordingly. And, don't let your emotions take over and allow that pendulum to swing from one extreme to the other. You feel me? We all need to stay centered. We need to keep things in perspective. We need to take the data into account, process it without bias and without emotion, and then you can come to logical and reasonable results. All right. The final thing I'm going to say here is, look, Dolphins need to prevent themselves from having a complete fucking collapse. They need to take care of business at home, frankly. I mean, even if you just take care of business at home, that's 3 more wins. That gets you to 12. You're going to win the division. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably won't get the number 1 seed unless you get some help. But look, I mean, just take care of business, especially this week. Those last 3 games, we'll get there when we get there. Let's take it 1 week at a time. It's a home game versus the Jets. I know you guys got some things to figure out with injuries and all that stuff, but figure it out, man. Figure it out. Overcome this shit, and don't be the same old fucking Dolphins, okay? Don't do it, Miami. Don't do it. Make us all fucking proud. Handle your goddamn business. And let's fucking move on with this thing. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's win the division at the bare minimum. And let's at least win 1 home playoff game. That way, we can go into the offseason and say, look, that stretch down the end was rough. We couldn't beat some of the better teams earlier on in the year. We did beat some of the better teams later on in the year. And we won a playoff game. It's progress. We can move in the right direction. We're moving in the right direction. And then that way, we can hopefully avoid the whole freak out by Dolphins fans and even media personnel who will, especially national media, who will say, blah, 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 whatever it is that they'll say. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. Hope you guys appreciate it. I want people to acknowledge good and bad, take all the data into account, and evaluate properly without allowing bias or emotion to come into play. That's it. That's all I ask for. I think it's a pretty easy ask. I mean, I know it's difficult for most people because we live in a crazy world and human beings are extremely emotional. But anyway, we'll do our best. We'll see how it goes. Just 1 week at a time, guys. Keep your heads up. And, if you do like my videos and my takes and all that stuff, please, share my videos with friends and family. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Leave comments down in the comment section. At the very least, I like to, as long as they're respectful comments, I like to at least leave the little heart thingy. I don't usually do the thumbs up. I do the little heart because I want people to know that I love their interactions. Anyway, so leave all that stuff. Spread my stuff. I'm trying to grow my channel. This is what I want to do with my life. This is what I want to do as a career. And I'm trying to make, firm moves in that direction. So anyway, I'm getting out of here. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Fins up. Keep your head up. 1 week at a time. We got this, baby. Let's bounce back and beat them Jets.
7 seconds left. Tannehill will throw it. And this will end it after the shuttle. Miami runs around. Circling. Look out. Gronkowski. Did not mean it. Touchdown. Miraculous in Miami. Stills to Parker to Drake. And they held off the field. Unimaginable what has taken place here in South Florida. The Dolphins have done it. They keep their season alive. 69 yards. Wow. Pure joy. Miami wins it.